Hello, I'm Kelly Vaughn, and this is Inside Indy. You know, a lot of stories in the news today about our troubled youth, but what are we going to do about it? How are we going to help them? There's a positive story about our young people and a way to make them into leaders. And here to talk about that and the efforts at the Jameson Camp is Tim Nowak.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you are program director at Jameson Camp.
Correct.
Here in Central Indiana. We have Joanna JoJo Shane.
Yes, ma'am.
You are Jameson Camp summer staff member and former youth leader and
Yes,
camper
ma'am.
as well. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you.
And we have Gina Jefferson, and you are a camp board member, mentor, and program committee chairperson, right?
Correct.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Tell me about this Jameson Camp.
Yeah, well, we've been around since 1928. We've been here in the community for a long time. So we were originally a camp for children impacted by tuberculosis, and that's kind of how we started. And from there, we've developed and evolved. But we serve right now. We're serving the community. We're working to serve children who would not otherwise receive a camp experience. So we see a lot of kids who have social and emotional challenges and face a lot of hurdles to just in general, but also a lot of hurdles to being able to get that experience of a full overnight summer camp that a lot of kids are able to receive. So that's really the focus and the drive of what we do with our summer camp programming.
Okay, because I guess I thought initially that, and that must be the historical part of it, that it had to do with some type of disability or challenge. But you're saying that it's evolved into really anybody, but you mentioned social and emotional challenges, for example.
So like children who are coming from low-income environments. So we are serving about 77% of families who are on free and reduced lunch programs in their schools. And we see a lot of kids who have like ADHD, some form of autism, kids who are coming from foster care situations. We work with the Angel Tree program, which helps to connect kids who have an incarcerated parent to summer camp programs and other programs like that. A lot of community partners work with us to make sure that we're really seeing kids who otherwise would struggle to find a camp experience and be able to get that consistently for them. So.
Okay. So, and I'm going to throw this either to JoJo or Gina. So when a kid goes to the camp, what do they experience and how do they change? You both can answer, take turns to answer that.
Have outdoor activities. They do crafts. They do archery, hiking. We have a wall that they climb. So any type of activities that you would do at a traditional outdoor camp.
Okay.
For myself, it reminds me a lot of when I went to probably a Girl Scout camp or some type of camp like that as a child. Some of the traditional activities that they do. Some of them at an older age maybe even still go camping and are actually outdoors for maybe one night to experience that. So.
Okay. And Joanna, you were actually a camper yourself at one point, right?
Yes, ma'am. We have a lot of things that we do, like we work together, learn to work together and stuff like that. We have a lot of activities where we get to know each other more and stuff like that. So,
okay. So when you first went to camp, what do you remember experiencing?
Well, when I first got there, the first thing I remember is like the counselors. Everyone was welcoming, everyone was very nice. Everyone had a great personality, and it's such a nice camp. Like, you get to learn so many new things, and you get to know a lot of new people. So it was really cool. Yeah, you can get to a lot of activities and stuff.
Wow, cool. So how's all this funded, Tim?
Yeah, so it's a big mission, and it's something. There aren't a lot of independent, not-for-profit camps that are doing the kind of thing that we're doing. It's a really pretty diverse portfolio of funding. We're a United Way agency, and they help us in our mission. We receive grant funding, different grant funders. There's something called the Central Indiana Community Foundation. They work with us, but then there are a lot of others. So we have some specialty funders, folks who are focused on like funding our program for children impacted by HIV and AIDS, or our programming focused on wellness and healthy living choices. Individual donations, corporate donations. We just had our big yearly annual fundraiser that we do, and we really focus on individuals and corporations for that. And it was a great event, brought in 115,000, and really is things like that help us to do what we do too, because our families are only able to pay a fraction of the cost of camp.
So how much is the cost per kid to participate in the camp?
Well,
roughly?
to us, for us to fund it, it's about $550 for a child to participate. Our families pay on a sliding scale, so we work to make things work for all families and make sure camp's affordable for all families. So depending on a family's income and kind of what things look like, we are able to adjust that cost for those families. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now, when does the camp begin and end? And do you do it several times during the year? How's that work?
Yeah. So it begins, so our very first session will start on May 29th, and that's
Okay.
our first day camp. We'll have 2 sessions of day camp that happen in the course of the summer, one there kind of at our start and one in the middle of the summer. We have 7 sessions of overnight camp then that happen, and those 7 sessions are broken up by ages, so like 7 to 11-year-olds, 12 to 16-year-olds, everything in between. We have a few specialty sessions, like I was mentioning, our Tataya Motto session, which is for children impacted by HIV and AIDS. We have a wellness camp focused on healthy living choices, nutrition, and exercise. And all of our sessions have different themes. So like there's a session that's like color wars, for the older kids. There's a session that's superheroes and superpowers with the younger kids. And so those themes kind of help us build programming around something that we can kind of all like rally around and have fun with throughout the course of the week. So.
Okay. Now, Gina, I know a key part of what you do is being a mentor.
Correct.
So what do you find in your experiences with young children? What do they need and what do they want?
Love. They want to be loved. Why am I going to cry?
Oh.
This is who I mentor.
Yeah, she's on.
So probably 3 years now, I think. And we started out just doing small things, getting to know each other. What are her goals? What are her dreams? And then helping her move forward towards that. But I really think that it's the acceptance and knowing that somebody cares.
Is that something you train the counselors to do, or the people who participate, or is...
It is. I mean, it's not like it's something that's easy to train, but it's something that's you start with developing an open perspective and helping your staff and the people that are going to be instrumental in your programming to understand an open mindset and to start there and to understand patience and from their perseverance and being able to work through all types of circumstances and to culturally understand different people and remain open throughout their time. And so, acceptance is huge though. What Gina said is absolutely right. Children need to feel loved and accepted, and if they don't, then we don't have a starting point. So that's the very basis of how we get to what we do. Yeah.
Okay. Now let's say there's somebody out there who's watching right now who really likes what you're doing. That's pretty cool. I'd like to give. How would they give to support the Jameson Camp?
Yeah. So our website, jamesoncamp.org, is the place to start, and we'll, you can find out information on how to give. There's different types of things you can give to, whether it's a certain campaign that we're doing, or whether it's to fund a summer camp experience for a child, or for a year-round experience. We have a youth leadership program that is working with teens through the non-summer months too. JoJo was a part of that for some time, so you can give to that, or you can give smaller dollar amounts. Whatever people can do, we're accepting and appreciating anybody who's willing to be connected to what we do and be a part of our mission. So.
Okay.
And they can give time as well.
Yeah.
If they want to volunteer.
Oh, yeah, let's talk about volunteering. So how can they go about doing that?
They would also be able to go on the website and probably contact Tim at this point, maybe, as far as the needs for summer camp. And then we kind of make a connection with them and then figure out where we can place them for things.
Okay. Stories. I'm interested in stories. Something that's touched your heart. And I'll give each one of you a chance to share your story in terms of your experience of what you like most about Jameson Camp. So let's start with Joanna.
Okay. So I'll just start with how I got into the camp. I used to be a talkative child. I used to talk a lot in class, and I used to get in trouble for that. And so my counselor referred me to Jameson Camp. And when I started, my first summer, I got referred for the potential youth leadership in the youth leader program that we have. And I started in that, and it was awesome because we learned all types of things that I never knew. I could do. You know, like we learned how to interview for jobs. We learned, like
For
I said
TV,
before,
huh?
yeah, we learned all types of things. How to climb the wall. We learned so many things that, because I used to not be like a camp person. I couldn't stand being outside, and then I started getting into camp, and I'm like, oh my
okay,
gosh,
so-
I can't wait to go to camp. Like I was just
Oh.
excited every month to go. So.
Cool,
Yeah.
very cool. Okay. Then what about you, Gina? Your experiences?
I think for me, I have touched different parts of camp. I've been a camp parent, I've been a volunteer, I've been a board member, a mentor. And I think the biggest piece for me is to watch the youth be able to grow and to show their leadership once they go through those phases, and to be able to show that they have become friends with people from all walks of life, and they have remained friends with them for quite some time, even after they leave camp. I think that it's a family atmosphere there once you're there, and there are people that you have in your life, I think, for the rest of your life at some point.
Good point. Okay. And Tim, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, JoJo, I mean, that this is an example. Like, we've got kids who are going to college. JoJo just got accepted to Central State, and she's going there next year.
Right.
We've got another kiddo who's going out to Bradley, and another one who's at Marion on a full ride scholarship, and they're doing huge things. They're learning and growing, and just good people along with the process of pursuing their interests and the things that they're wanting to do. But we had a parent call last week, and she was a returning parent, and just kind of recounted some of the things that her child's been through in the last year. And she was crying on the phone and just so appreciative and thankful, and reminding us that there are not other places where her child was able to be so successful, was able to feel accepted, and to feel like people understood him for who he was. So, those things are like constant reminders in my work, and help to drive like the everyday process of what it takes to make this happen. So.
All right. So, a phone number, website where people can either give, volunteer, or they have someone they'd like to participate in the Jameson Camp.
So jamesonCamp.org, JAMESONCAMP.org, and there's a How to Help tab there, and you'll see there how to get connected with our organization, and whether it's volunteering or giving or summer employment or anything else, there's all kinds of resources at that tab for how to work with us. And our phone number is there too. It's 317-241-2661. So we're open, we're ready, and we're always excited when new folks come in and get to know us and find different ways to get connected to us.
Amen. Okay. Tim, JoJo, and Gina, thanks so much for joining us
Thank you, Kelly.
on Inside Indy. And we'll be back after this. And we're back. To be young and gifted. Don't I wish? But we have someone on our studio set today who is young and very gifted. I don't know if that, you're gifted, but just over and above the top. And his name is Stephen O'Reilly Jr. Hi, Stephen. Welcome to the show.
Thanks.
And his mother joins us as well. It's Yvonne Matlock. Hi, Yvonne. Nice to see you.
Thank you for having us, Kelly.
You two have a fascinating story to share with our viewers about your journey and about your son, Stephen. And I appreciate you coming on the show. Why don't we start with Mama and your story?
Well, Kelly, I'll tell you, I never thought that we would be here today, but I'm so thankful that we are. I'm a twice survivor of domestic violence, and my son has been he's been through quite a lot himself. At the age of 10, he was in a back brace for a year, and, I was really concerned on how that would affect him, but it's actually turned out to, I think, lead him to his destiny today. So, but I'll let him talk a little bit more about that.
So tell us, Stephen, about your journey. And you're on your way to and I'm speaking it into existence to school, a very special school over in England. But tell us a little bit about you.
Well, like she said, I had a major back injury around the age when I was 10, but that also happened around the same time that I started to get really interested in Super Mario World hacking. So how you actually did this was by learning the assembly architecture for the 65C816 CPU processor. And then...
And I don't know what he just said.
It
but
went
that
over my
sounds
head
good.
too, Kelly. Don't feel bad.
In layman terms.
So I learned the assembly programming language, and that basically just led into learning the Lua scripting language. And then after all of that, I decided to move into more conventional imperative programming languages, such as those for the web, mostly, or namely, JavaScript. And then around my sophomore year was when I made most of my projects for the web. And then I've since just developed a high-intensity love for all things programming languages, mostly incredibly low-level and high-level declarative programming languages. And then that leads into my actual academic growth. And over the past 4 years, I've basically tried to develop some sort of plan of continuing my love for computer science onward into academia. So eventually, or at least this year, I applied to a British school, the University of Southampton, and I was accepted. But then the only limiting factor, obviously, is not love for computer science or anything academic. It's just purely financial inability.
Okay.
And it's no easy task either, getting into the school either.
That's what I was going to say. So, tell us about the university. And
Well, I think Stephen can do a better job of that than I can. So.
Well, I mean, basically, just going to the university means you love computer science. Basically, it's ranked 6th actually in Britain as as far as top computer science schools go, and I would actually, by going there, I'd be able to get a PhD in 6 years because all study at the University of Southampton would just be oriented around pure computer science classes.
wow. Okay, so you don't have a lot of prerequisites. You go straight into it because why bother with the others? The way I look at it, it's like, wow. So, and again, it's obvious he's on a whole nother level than most of us.
Yes.
But you basically are into computer sciences. I'm going to do a translation for the audience, and that's where your passion is. And at some point, you realized, what age were you when you realized you had a passion for it and that you were able to understand these things that most of us either may not get? How old were you?
It was probably around the age of 12.
12.
When,
Okay.
I was mainly writing. So essentially, I did a lot of stuff with Super Mario World. It's kind of embarrassing, but I wrote basically a novel of mathematical translations from basic real-world maths to in-game mathematics and how things work. And I was able to implement these algorithms with Lua scripting and use these to play the game really well.
Okay. So you beat them at their own game.
Yeah,
Is
he's had,
okay.
400,000 hits on YouTube?
Yeah, so
for this.
mainly why I did this was because I was really interested in something called tool-assisted speedrunning. So I got really into that, and to become good at tool-assisted speedrunning Mario, you had to be good at modeling these types of algorithms that happened in-game.
And when I noticed it was middle school, because I noticed he was starting to get into the back end of certain websites that probably most people would have no clue, and there are some that are very unsecured, that he was able to get into, but, he's always been a good steward, I think, of, doing the right thing.
That's
So.
deep. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty amazing. So you can build things, take things apart, figure it out. Okay, you're kind of scary, It's a little.
Yeah.
He can figure out so much, and especially in that world. So now let's talk money, because you need money to go to school. Let's just be real about this. And so I know you have a GoFundMe page, right?
Yes.
Okay,
We
so
do.
how can people give and be a part of sending the super, super talented son of yours to England to study, because
Well-
obviously we don't want this talent to go to waste.
Exactly, and I was just reading in the IBJ how that we're trying to get more kids, involved in the tech world, and here we've got a homegrown kid right here in our own backyard,
yeah.
and he's also been directly admitted into the Indiana University School of Computing and Informatics, but even at IU, the difference between after financial aid is going to be about $15,000 out of
Okay,
pocket,
okay.
and I work for a nonprofit, and it's. I don't think it's any coincidence that I fundraise for kids that are disadvantaged, because now, I'm being tasked with, fundraising for my own child, and hopeful that somebody that hears this story will, feel compelled to help him and feel as though it's not a handout, but that it's an investment in our future. But even he'd love to go to the University of Southampton, and I know that if someone were to help him, that the sky would be the limit. I know that, that would just be the rocket fuel that would send him, on his way. But right there, an international student, we're talking about $38,000 a year. So, he's asking for some help with just enough to get him there for the first year, and then we'll figure it out. There's several scholarships that are open to students after they're enrolled, but right now he can't, apply for those. So.
Okay. So people can, of course, now if you're watching Inside Indy, you can send a check. Go ahead and put that information out there if they just want to send, instead of just going through GoFundMe, they may want to just send you something directly.
Right, they can send it to us. Do you want me to give my address?
Or wherever you want,
yeah.
or they can send it here
Yeah,
to Channel 40,
right.
addressed to you,
Right, they
however
could
you
send,
want that
just,
done.
Stephen to Southampton is the GoFundMe page.
Okay.
If they wanted to send a check here to the studio, that'd be awesome too.
Okay.
We could, take care of it there. But, the other thing is, Stephen didn't mention, is that, he's accomplished so much in his short lifetime, but he'll actually graduate on the May 27th of this month with 35 college credits and a 4.3 GPA.
Wow.
And so, I know he's worked so hard for this. He's been making straight A's since as early as elementary school. And so I'm hoping that somebody that hears the story today will, feel compelled to help.
Very cool, very cool. Okay. Well, Stephen, and I'll let you have the last word in terms of people are watching. And what would you say to the audience to encourage them to support your effort? Because you certainly deserve it.
Well, all of my work is either on Cloud9. Cloud9, you actually have to make an account to see other people's projects, but that's actually where I host over 200 of my projects. And that's just c9.io/StephenGeeky. There's also my personal site, which is sporiley.com. And there's also GitHub, which is where my, quote, professional projects are hosted. And that's just github.com/StephenGeeky.
Okay, okay. And the GoFundMe page again, let's put that out
It's
there.
Stephen to Southampton. So
Stephen to
Southampton.
Southampton. Okay, I want to overdo that. Stephen to Southampton. I'm
That's
trying
right.
to get them to write the check right now, too.
Or I think too that they can sponsor him. That's been a challenge, Kelly, is that, giving a personal donation versus one that's tax deductible. I think they can actually sponsor him directly with the school if they
okay.
prefer to do that as well. So.
Okay. Okay, well, we appreciate you coming on. I am so impressed. I'm blown away.
Thank you, Kelly.
And I hope that our viewers out there will be too. And somebody can write the full check. We know there's somebody out there that can do that. So we invite you to do that, but to support Stephen and his efforts. And we wish you all the success and happiness. And I know one day he's going to be a billionaire. And then maybe that person that wrote the check, you just, they say, give it back.
And he will.
Yeah.
He's promised me that he'll do that.
Yeah.
So.
Pretty cool.
Right.
Well, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
On Inside Indy. Thank you, Yvonne. Thank you. And thank you for joining us. I'm Kelly Vaughn. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.